Greetings.
Hi,
Hi, how are you both doing today?
Great. Thanks
I'm
so
very
much
well.
chatting with us today. We greatly appreciate your support of the film.
Oh, of course, of course. I absolutely love the film. So
Oh,
first of all, thank you so much for making it.
oh, wow. So we're
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you
oh
so
my
much.
territory. This is good. But wait a second, Beth.
Mhm.
Hugo, you said you were going to wear a pink shirt.
I actually didn't say that, so
Duped me, duped me into wearing pink. By the way, Beth, our tagline is "It's a man's world." Paint painted pink. And look, even my face is pink.
I think you just like wearing pink.
Uh,
But yeah,
Well, I'm in blue, so I'm also out of uniform. So,
no
God, it's
worries.
going to be a tough one. I can tell already. Can't you tell, Beth? Oh, boy.
um, is it okay if I jump right into my questions?
Of course, yeah, go for it.
All right. So Hugo, this first one's for you. What inspired you to tell this story?
Um, a few things I would say. Firstly, it was actually it was kind of a strange time because I remember I was actually premiering my first short film to my business partners at the time. And it was when they were watching my first short film that I actually came up for the idea for makeup, which was kind of like strange timing. But I just started thinking about my one of my friends at the time and his sister, who used to be his brother. And I was thinking about that kind of that transition that they decided to make and the impact it had on the family and you know what that process was like for everybody. And then I started thinking about that first moment, that first moment where you kind of, um, that identity, that moment when you're kind of discovering your own identity, rather than the whole, transitioning through surgery and things like that. I wanted to sort of bring it back to the first moment where you start realizing that this isn't the body that I want to be in, or this isn't the person that I want to be. So that was kind of the first step to creating the character, which you saw as Dan slash Danielle, which was kind of him identifying as or beginning to identify as somebody else. And then later on, I started thinking about my dad for some reason, and then my dad's character, sort of my character Sasha, was inspired by my dad. I'm not sure how I got to that, but it was just I guess it was just my way of involving things from my own personal life into the story as well.
Awesome. And was it always your intent to star in the movie as well?
Not necessarily, but because I started basing Sasha on my dad, I thought it made sense, obviously, for it to be me, because who better to portray my dad than me? But at the same time, as I'm sure Lucas would love to touch on, it also saved on the budget, me playing the character as well as directing it. So
That's great. So yeah, kind
We
of tell.
saved, we saved with two characters, both of our leads, Hugo and Will, plays the other character, Dan. Uh, they didn't charge a fee.
Well, that's awesome.
aren't we generous?
So, Beth, when you're dealing with an indie film, cost savings is extremely important, as you know. So I had no objection, and they're both very, very talented, as you could see from the film. They did pretty well. And by the way, Beth, this was filmed during the pandemic, height of the
Oh,
pandemic in 2020. So, and these guys had to deal with amazing challenges, and they did a wonderful, wonderful job, all things considered. Locations were difficult to ascertain. In London, which is where the film, which is where Hugo is, I'm here in the US, Hugo's out in London. In London, they had really tight limitations on how many people could be in the same room, just like we had here in the US. So making sure we had the right number of cast and crew, an incredible challenge. So then on top of the budget, I'm very proud of these guys.
well, that's great. That's great. So how did you come to be a producer in the first place?
Oh my goodness, how many hours do we have?
About 10 more minutes.
Oh my goodness. Well, let me give you the short form. It relates to the COVID. I've been a lawyer for about 35 years. That's been my primary occupation. I've been a lawyer in New York, uh, real estate primarily, but I always loved the arts, always. Well, in March of 20, when the world shut down, if you recall, we all had to stay in place worldwide. It was pandemonium. And in the US, if you recall, Beth, you look young, but it was only a couple of years ago. Donald Trump was president of the United States, and George Floyd had been murdered, and there were Black Lives Matters protests, and there was rioting and picketing all around the U.S. The world was in chaos with COVID, the combination of everything that was going on, particularly Trump too. So here I am. I was actually in this room in March of 2020, not able to leave because I thought if I left the front door, I was going to like catch some sort of disease that would kill me. In any event, I went online and I was found myself attracted to crowdfunding pages because I wanted to see where I could make a difference, how I could help, and I ended up on film pages. And lo and behold, who do you think was looking for money on crowdfunding pages in March of 2020? But my dear friend, Hugo. And do you know which film he was asking money for? Of course, makeup. So it was totally coincidental. It was all due to COVID. And this is my second feature film that has come as a result of COVID. This is only my second. I've only been doing this since March of 2020, so I'm a relative newbie. My first film, Help, has been out, but this one is truly exciting. It's timely. It's topical. I think people are going to love it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Since you're still new to the film industry, is this something that you're going to stick in?
I don't know if the film industry will have me. What do you think, Hugo?
Yeah, I mean, I hope you stick around. Otherwise, not much is going to be happening for me.
Well, we have to answer your question.
We still need you, Lucas.
It's like a disease. To borrow on the COVID analogy, I love it. Being surrounded by young creative people such as my friend here, Hugo, who just came to the U.S. He was in the U.S. Just a few days ago. He's back in London, and we got a chance to hang out. Amazingly talented guy. And what was he doing in the U.S.? You ask. His next feature film. So we are plotting his next film. So to answer your question, I think I'm going to be around for a little bit longer.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Wait till you hear about the next feature film. Maybe we'll give you the exclusive, Beth. What do you think?
Oh, I would love that for sure.
Sorry, Lucas is a natural salesman, as you can see here.
What?
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it.
Hey, it's good for me.
Hugo's a natural actor. You can come to your own conclusions about that.
I'm not acting right now.
I am.
So before we get to the upcoming projects, Hugo, you seem very drawn to this theme of relationships and how they affect us and mental health and our personalities and things like that. Was that something that you set out to explore at the beginning, or is that something that you just kind of fell into that has stuck with you?
I think that's been a theme for all of my films, to be honest. It's something that has been very relevant in my life, I suppose, and I think relevant in everybody's life. I mean, what is bigger than relationships at the end of the day? As humans, we strive to connect with other people. We strive to understand other people, understand ourselves. So it just makes sense that these are themes that I follow with my films because I'm still figuring out who I am. Lucas, you're still figuring out who you are. We're all on this.
Thanks, Hugo.
We're all on this journey of self-discovery. And for me, it was important to kind of show the world or whoever watches this film a little bit about, anxiety and how that can play into your relationships with people, acceptance, judging people too strongly for their beliefs or their decisions. And we just want to show the world that there is a better way of behaving and a better way of treating your peers, essentially. And it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult to do. You just have to show love, show acceptance, and be curious. Ask questions. Try to find out more about people rather than just judging them from the get-go. So I think that's something I've always been passionate about.
And that's something that makes the ending of this movie just so beautiful.
Thank you.
It's funny, Beth. Yeah, thank you is right. It's the world has become less tolerant. You would think over the years people will become more accepting, but the opposite has been true. And people are not accepting others for who they are and what they want to be. Look, if they're adults and they're doing everything, they're abiding by the law, and they're not hurting anyone, I don't let them be. So if a man wants to identify as a woman or vice versa, if someone wants to dress a certain way and they're not hurting anyone in the process, let them be. And I think that's the message. But by the way, Beth, I don't know if you noticed, but the film doesn't proselytize. We're not saying that what the viewers are watching is good or bad. And that was another thing that drew me to this film. This is about the viewer coming to his, her, it's, they, them, their perspective. I don't know what pronoun to use anymore of the film. And I think that's what makes it special as well. You take what from it what you wish.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think that's what makes it such a great film.
And you don't even know if the two guys are in a relationship. That part, I love that part too. It's unclear what is the dynamic between these two roommates, basically. I love that. Maybe we'll work it out in a sequel. What do you think, Hugo?
If you put up the money, yeah.
Oh.
But I don't want to act in another one, Lucas. It was too much. It was draining for me. Let's hire somebody else.
Let me get the emergency people over here.
Okay, good.
So are these themes things that you're going to bring into the upcoming film that you're going to tease a little bit?
Yes. I mean, the next film is definitely a lot darker. It dives deeper into the mental psyche, I suppose. And it is it's going to be interesting to say the least. It's a psychological thriller. The working title for it at the moment is Future Sins. And it deals with mental health. It deals with the correctional system and, where society is heading. So it's a bit of a dystopian sort of futuristic film. And it plays a lot on very sensitive themes. So it's definitely darker. It's darker than Makeup. Makeup's more wholesome, lighthearted, sentimental, but I want to hit the viewers hard on the next one.
And unfortunately, Beth, it is significantly more expensive. But the good news is we have some major names attached to this. So unfortunately, we cannot share them with you. But so we are stepping it up. So I'm stepping it up. Hugo is stepping it up. We're excited about what's to come.
Well, that's great.
In fact, Hugo may or may not appear in the next one. We're still discussing that.
Definitely not as a lead. Definitely not as a lead. If I make it into it.
So is this still in the pre-production phase?
Yes, it is. Yeah, we're still figuring out a couple of logistics, but we're getting closer every day and getting more excited every day. Also nervous, but we're on the right track.
Well, look, Beth, the film hasn't even come out yet. The reception to future projects is going to be significantly higher once the film is released and critical reaction is, secured. If we get some nice reviews that'll certainly be helpful to the future projects. That, by the way, he also has a comedy feature that he's working on, and so what was interesting, we thought, we got a dramedy now. You don't want to be pigeonholed, so let's not do a comedy. Let's jump to the thriller, and then we can always come. So we've got some exciting things in the works. So
Yeah, I can't stop writing, basically. I just keep throwing things at him.
Well, I mean, that's great. That's kind of what we need right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need it, but that's a separate matter.
All right, so we're right at time, but is there anything else that you'd like to add about Mako?
Not specifically.
It's Pride Month. Watch it. Show support. Show support for other human beings. Tolerance, acceptance, identity. Themes that are now really at the top of, the media every day. Hate and this film, I think, is an interesting, it's an interesting little take, an interesting little twist, and also it's entertaining. As I said, it's not preachy, so let's have fun.
I humbly ask that people watch it and they share their response to it as well.
Let's paint the town pink.
I like it. Awesome.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having us on your page today, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Of course.
Thanks for speaking with us.
Of course. You have a great rest of your day.
See you soon when we come out with the next movie.
Oh, for sure. Thank you. All right.
Thanks, Beth.
Bye-bye.
Speak soon. Bye-bye.